even though the monitor's not showing. I think it's on. Okay, hopefully we're being recorded. All right, we'll call this meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is approving the minutes from the March 20th meeting. Because I was not at the meeting, I learned I should be the one who moves to
No,
adopt them.
I guess somebody else has to make the motion, but I can approve them? How is that going to work?
Anybody can move, just not, I mean,
Okay,
I
I'll
can
make a
move,
mo-
but
Make
I'm
a
not gonna-
motion that we approve the March 20th minutes.
And then anybody can second.
Who seconded it?
Tony.
All right.
I did.
All right. And then all in.
Yeah, all in favor?
Yeah.
Public hearing. All right. And then we always have on our agenda public speak time, and this is not, if you're here for a particular matter, you don't need to speak now. This is just an opportunity for, if there was a member of the public who had some issue that they wanted to bring up to us that was not related to a matter that's specifically on the agenda, this would be the time that they could do it. I don't think that's ever happened, but we have it on the agenda, so, okay. And then our first public hearing for tonight is on the application of Danielle Norris Gardner of 19 Nipper Avenue rather, apartment 3 here in Easthampton. And she is seeking a special permit for home office studio home occupation pursuant to section 10.4 of the Easthampton zoning ordinance. And Danielle?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
If you want to maybe come up to the
Sure.
front. And
Stand or?
you can sit.
Yes, sir.
And usually when folks are applying, we ask them to just kind of give us I know it's in your application, but just a
Sure.
brief overview of your business. And
Sure. I'm a photographer. I photograph families, newborns, weddings if I'm lucky, and the business name is Salty Raven Studio and Event Photography. It's a raven because I lived in California and the ravens would fly over the ocean. That's why it's Salty Raven. But anyway, I'm a photographer. It's just me and my 2 cameras and lots of flashes and lenses. And I do all of the photography outside the home at my clients' homes, or at their venue where they get married. So the only thing that happens at my home address is I upload the pictures on my computer and I do editing and upload them onto the internet. So if I meet a client before or after an event, I go to a coffee shop or to the some public space or to their house. So I don't feel comfortable having strangers come to my own home. So nothing happens at my home besides me and my cameras. And my computer. My computer. It's hours sitting at the computer using my editing software. So, and I have business cards if anyone would like one. So, I don't know how much more you want to hear.
that's perfect.
Okay.
So we've done these like the last meeting. Last month was me, but I wasn't here for that. And then the one before that we had.
So basically, your neighbors would know you're working there other than you're home all day rather than going to a job.
Right. Well, I'm home all day because I also watch my 2 children. I have a 3-year-old and 1-year-old. But yeah, they would have no idea because I'm just using the computer.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
And I don't store it. I do digital photography, so I don't do anything with chemicals. Like it's all, just the computer and memory cards. So there are no hazardous chemicals stored on site or anything like that.
So
On your application, you didn't have anything for signage? You don't have signage up?
Oh, no signage. No,
Okay.
no signage. And nothing on my car either because I don't want to let people know that I have equipment in the car in case, break-in and stuff. So.
Right, smart.
well, the first thing that I thought of when I saw your application was that we really appreciate it when people follow the rules and apply for permits, even if the chances of enforcement are essentially zero. And so I just want to say that I really, really appreciate that you took the time to do the application so that you could get the permit, because the zoning rules do require a permit for what you're looking to do. But a lot of people don't even bother to find out what the rules are, let alone actually go through the steps to follow them. So I really appreciate that you did that, because it's really easy to just get away with things. And
It's rare.
But to me, this seems like it fits very squarely within what's allowable. Nobody coming to the house. It's not going to in any way inconvenience the neighbors. So I think we just have to go through. The specific things that we look at are that you live in the place where you're going to be operating the business, which is clearly the case here. That you're not going to have more than one employee in here. You're not going to be having any, and that you're going to be carrying on your business just within the main building or an accessory structure. Here, you're going to be in your living space. There's a rule about how much space, but as you've described it, it's going to be a little bit of space for your cameras and you sitting with your computer.
Yeah.
That there's not going to be anything visible from the outside, so no, storage of things that's going to be visible.
No
And-
parking issues.
Right. There's no. Yeah.
Not a lot of noise.
No advertising. No objectionable or detrimental activities on the property. And that you're not going to be selling things. Right. Yeah, that you're not going to be selling things from like other places, and and that there's not a parking issue because you won't have anybody coming there. Why is it
That looks
formatted
like it.
differently from? No, it isn't. You just have single-sided knives.
Yes,
Okay.
I have seen.
Did I miss an update? So to me, this seems very obvious, and I move that we grant the special permit as, none of these additional considerations are even at all germane.
I'll second the motion.
All right, all in favor? Aye. So thanks for coming. And so here's the deal. I will write out the opinion, and then it will go to the clerk's office. There is a 20-day appeals period from the time that it is filed with the clerk's office, and you'll receive a notice.
Not unlike the one that you haven't got here.
Right. And what am I forgetting? 20 days. Yeah, just that there's a 20-day appeal period, and then it will be.
Yeah. And I met one of my nice neighbors while she was walking the dog, and she said she got something in the mail mentioning it. Then does something else go out to the mail to the neighbors to tell them what? No, but it doesn't say on the. I hope they don't think I'm doing crazy things at my house. But.
If they thought you were doing crazy things, they'd be here objecting.
Oh.
That's what they got. They got basically it's a public notice that says
Yeah.
anyone, is it 100 feet or 300 feet?
I think it's
It's
300
feet
300.
of the.
Yeah, I might recognize. I think I recognize you.
I'm next door, right
Oh.
next
Oh, you
door.
are? I haven't met you
I
yet.
came only because I was curious as to what kind of business it was.
Okay, yeah.
Whether there would be a lot of extra traffic, because we've already got 2 sets of condominiums across the street that are brand new, and we'll be having 2 more. And I think, the street can only take so much traffic.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was my concern, that there would be a lot of extra traffic.
Do you mind
But I'm
saying?
perfectly fine with what she's going
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad.
Do you mind stating your name and address for the record?
Karen Whiteley, 15 Nipfer Avenue.
Thank you.
Are you at the big white house to the right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hi. We just moved here in January, so.
Yeah, and
Been too cold
with
to
the
go
weather.
out.
With the weather.
Nobody's been out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Reading or anything.
Why'd you leave California?
Well, that was a few. We work for the National Park Service, my husband and I.
Oh.
Although at the moment I'm taking care of the kids, so this is my bridge career. So he works at Springfield Armory National Historic Site. He's an
Oh,
archaeologist
okay.
with National Park Service.
Oh, cool.
So in between, we were in Arizona and then New Mexico. So this is my third.
This is definitely colder than any of those places.
This is my third business permitting process, and I have to say you're very thorough in Massachusetts. But But I'm glad to find the ways to do it the right way. Although I did get a lot of flack from people who were like, "What? You're doing what?" But it's all good. It's all good. It's fun to see it.
Okay, there we go.
Well,
Yeah.
Best of luck.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Mind if I leave the party? Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yeah, just, weddings or
Thank you
babies.
very
I
much.
don't know if you have weddings or babies in your future.
Hopefully no
You
more
know.
babies in my future.
Sure. Do you like a card? Yeah. Sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Here I Thank you.
All right.
Weddings or babies?
Next.
I can also do that. I don't have a lot of experience with that, but we can talk. Sure. Yeah, thank you. All right. If anybody doesn't mind, I can. Nice to meet you. Follow the baby. Carol.
Oh, here it is. So the next thing on our agenda is the Pioneer Valley Habitat for Humanity seeking a determination of substantiality for changes, modifications to the permit for the two single-family residential units on their property located between 230 and 248 East Street here in Easthampton. Sure, why don't you come on over?
My name is Libby McCarty, and I'm a board member at Habitat. And this is Chuck Whittam, and he has now retired, but he was architect for 30 years, and he and I have been working on different projects together, and we're really happy to be here, and thank you for having us.
So should we go through and explain?
Yeah, do the
minor
same sort of
changes?
like overview of what, I know it's
Take
in
it
the
away,
letter,
Chuck.
but
Might as well take advantage of your
Want me to hold?
Go ahead. Here.
please do.
Just to give you a sense of the kind of changes we're requesting. The approved comprehensive application permit, let's see, it was Exhibit A, page 5 of 6. It's a waiver granted for changing to becoming two pieces of property with two independent pieces of frontage. And so we're requesting that these two pieces of frontage be changed in length from 68 feet and 52 feet to 71 feet and 49 feet.
Yeah, so 68 feet, and what was the other one?
49 feet.
To 68 and 52
Yeah.
to
71 and 49.
71 and
71 and 49. Yeah, and the reason for that change is to better align the single driveway to enter for the two pieces of property.
yeah, so we come up here. Well, should we show them the new one?
Yeah.
That's easier to see. One of the units is a handicapped unit, and so it's all single floor. So we wanted to, a lot of this is getting the driveway accessible so we can do a ramp without the railing so that it helps the handicapped entrance, and then align these two together so that we don't have to do so much movement of soils on the property.
Right.
Okay.
So that's one minor change. The second one is to modify the meets and bounds for the new property line. Now, the old one is kind of a simple two-piece property, one here and then it shoots out to the back of the property.
I'm gonna hold this up next to it so they can see the before and after here.
Okay.
That-
There you go.
There we go.
There you go. The new one that we're requesting, meets and bounds, is a little more complicated. Again, dealing with the driveway and then intersecting with the two houses or the two units and running out to the back of the property.
So basically, it's going to be more complicated because the driveway is going to curve as opposed to be straight. Am I seeing that right? Like, so it's not going to be, it's still basically running down the middle of the driveway. It's just that the driveway itself is going to be more of a curve.
Right, we worked really hard to make sure that everybody can, driveways are a big hassle when they're a joint driveway.
Yeah.
So we worked really hard to make sure that we had plenty of parking space for both families, that they might go over the middle part, but they don't actually have to go way over on the other part, and that there's enough to go up and down without making it too wide, but still being able, because East Street, the traffic goes pretty fast.
Right.
You're
So
not
we-
going to back out on East Street.
Right, well, and so we wanted them to be able to go like this and then down, but we've curved it here so that they can kind of
All right.
quickly turn it.
Yeah.
And the lot size, I see the lot size are still at 20,000 feet, so.
Right, everything's
correct.
equal,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's just a different configuration on the property outlines.
Is that a really wetlands? Like, is the,
Well, the actual
Can-
wetlands is way over here.
oh, so that's just a buffer? Okay,
Yeah.
so
So you
they'll
gotta-
still have plenty of backyard to
Right.
play in?
The
Right.
50-foot buffer and the 100-foot buffer.
Okay, my mistake. I was thinking the shaded area was the wetland,
No.
and that unit would have no backyard.
Right, so
Okay.
no, actually, it's really pretty.
Yes,
It's wooded.
okay, my mistake.
Yeah, but
And thirdly, we're requesting that the footprint be changed because of changes in the architectural design as the design evolved over a period of time. So that, here's the original footprint of the building, and it's about 88 feet long. And just coincidentally, our new piece is about 87 feet long, plus a 7-foot porch. Still stays within the setback requirements.
The line there.
And fourthly, change the orientation of the building footprint so that this one is a little bit skewed off of being parallel with East Street. But we, to take advantage of this north-south exposure, and because we were going to be using photovoltaic panels on the south side, we wanted to turn the building, as you see here. So true north-south is like so, right through the center of the building. And that'll give us the entire south wall for photovoltaics. And we also, the original footprint is about 90 feet back from the frontage. And on our revised plan, we've moved that forward so that we're about 55 feet.
Right, but you're still further back than the stuff.
Right.
You're
Seeing the
still within the
lines.
setback.
We're
Over
in.
the
Yeah.
50-foot minimum.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
And that gives us more room back here in the yard, and we've got to deal with the slope of the land coming down. So it worked out, and the parking too, so it worked out much better. So those are our minor requests.
All right. Anybody have any questions?
I don't have any problems with it.
And nobody else is here to speak on Habitat. All right. Well, to me, this is, like, none of these changes raise to the level of substantial in my mind. I mean, we're not changing, the number of units, we're not
Right.
significantly changing, like, there's not square footage changes that are more than minimal.
Yeah.
Building type is still the same. The type of housing is still the same. We're not talking about changes in height, and the total size is staying the same. So, procedurally, Jamie, do we just vote on this the same way? I don't think I don't remember
You'll
the
need
last
to
time we did
vote,
this.
you'll need to,
Each one separately?
each request separately.
Yep.
And if the board determines that they're insubstantial, then the application is deemed to be amended with that change.
Right, okay.
And if the board finds it to be substantial, then you'll have to come back and re-advertise and open up the 40B hearing
Right.
again.
Right.
Regardless, there will be a you know, there'll be a letter or something that comes out from the CDA that states what
Like-
happened at the meeting.
Right, that we
But-
addressed each of these and found each to be okay. Sure. All right, so let's do them one at a time. Let's see. So, for changing the frontages from 68 feet and 52 feet to 71 feet and 49 feet, I motion, like I feel like we just vote. Do we just vote or do we?
Can we, how about if we just list them all out again, and just if there's any objection, we address it that way? Is that the easiest way to do it, you think?
We have to-
I think so.
One at a time.
One at
So,
a time.
yeah, all right, so
Five
68
motions,
feet
fine.
to, and 52 feet to 71 feet and 49 feet. All those who agree that that is insubstantial, aye. All right, so unanimous, insubstantial. Modifying the meets and bounds for the new property line in order to separate the tract into in a way that better accommodates the repositioning of the new building. All those who agree that it is insubstantial, aye. To change the footprint of the building in order to accommodate changes to the architectural design, and that this change will result in a decrease of the length of the building from 88 feet to 87 feet. All those in agreement that is an insubstantial change. Aye. To change the orientation of the building footprint to take advantage of a southern exposure to facilitate solar gain to increase energy savings. Yes, that's the verbiage. So for that repositioning, all those that agree it's insubstantial, aye. And to adjust the front yard setbacks to address the topography of the driveway, so that the driveway can be redone, such that it will be closer to the street, but the setback will be no less than the 50 feet required from the property line. All those who agree that's insubstantial, aye. All right. So I'll write a letter. We'll work together on that, on exactly what it needs to have in it. This is a little different than
Thank you very
we
much.
are. And thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right.
Who would think?
That one was easy, though.
Took years for us to get here, but we weren't gonna do.
What time are we at?
7:23.
Okay, I'm gonna wait 7 minutes because we had you on the agenda for 7:30. And
Sorry. Do you want to stop the tape and then?
sure, why
Or
don't
do we
we?
want to do
Adjourn
some
to-
of the,
Sure, let's look ahead on our
Administrative
agenda. Yeah,
things?
let's do the administrative stuff.
What do you think?
Actually, it's not exactly related, but did we get anything from, Phil brings it to me. There's nothing new since you sent this email, is there?
There were no new applications.
No, I don't mean applications, I mean,
Comment memos?
amendments?
Oh, right, I was gonna get you I was gonna print out new zoning ordinances.
Oh, that wasn't what I was thinking of, but, what am I thinking of? I'm thinking of, not that, not this. Jim, did we get anything from Jim?
Oh, he's on vacation. I
Okay.
asked him to review the plans.
If there's, we
Um,
can discuss it more when we restart the tape, or
Yeah.
did you stop the tape?
I didn't stop the
Oh,
tape.
We're gonna take a, oh no, we're gonna do I am really tired and I apologize. Okay, so are there any administrative items?
No.
No, okay.
Just something I happen to think of. When are we supposed to vote on who's the chairman and everything like that?
Typically, that happens at the beginning of the year.
Oh, yeah,
Most
we
of the
were-
boards and committees do that in January, the first meeting.
I don't
in
remember
January.
doing
We weren't here
Because we never
of
had a
snow.
meeting.
Right, so.
It's true, this is our first meeting
I make a
altogether in
motion
the
that
year.
Maggie stays chairperson.
I second it.
All those in favor? All right.
Did you accept this nomination?
I accept the nomination. Happily.
Okay, so we'll do that for the next, through the end of this calendar year.
Well, my appointment, I think, is up in the fall, so.
Then they typically end in December.
Oh,
the
okay, then
calendar,
I guess
so-
it's in the calendar year.
But you will want to stay as a member.
I am neither going to affirm nor deny. But if that's all of our administrative, let's take a recess till 7:30.
Okay.
All right, it's now 7:30. No one else has appeared, but at 7:30 is the time on the agenda. We will get started on the request for review of the final pre-construction review, final approval for the approved comprehensive permit for Parsons Village. And the property is located at 69 Parsons Street. And just like everybody else, you want to give us your little...
Sure.
little
Charmaine Campbell, Valley
Yeah.
CDC, hi, and
See you again.
nice to see you. Peter Wells and Wynn from Valley CDC. So we are, the address is actually now 71 Parsons, which is, we've gotten that changed through the city. They wanted,
It's better
I
for
guess,
the
the way
teenagers.
probably the properties are situated on the other side of the street and where our driveway is going to be. So it's now 71 Parsons, formerly known as 69 Parsons. We are finally getting in the stage of construction. We should be in construction by June 1st. So we're moving through the closing process with all the lenders and et cetera, and so we need to pay attention to the pre-construction conditions of the comp permit that were issued, and we have satisfied 28 and 29 already, which is that the city has received a copy of the award letter for the low-income housing tax credits, and we have worked with the fire department to conduct the flow testing on the public fire hydrants, which have been submitted to the city.
Right, we have that.
You have it, okay. And so the last pre-construction condition is number 27 with submitting final plans. And so we submitted those a couple of weeks ago. So it's a layout plan, grading and drainage, utilities, planting, and signage, and safety signage, including stop signs throughout the property. If you have specific questions, or Peter is here to answer.
I need to go yellow with that. And glasses, but I don't think they're working.
So I just, since we are being recorded, I do want to note that we all received the copy of the letter from our Department of Housing and Community Development that meets condition 28. And also that we received a copy of the hydrant flow test, which, you know, largely is meaningless to me, but that we also received a copy of the email from, let's see, it's the, let's see, who is the, let's see what I mean.
There's someone named Mike from the Water Division that witnessed something.
Yeah, that he was there, and then it's Dave Motor, who's from,
Mater is the fire department.
it's the fire, yeah, thank you. But is he the fire chief? He's the chief? Okay, that was what I couldn't remember. Saying that, that they're satisfied with the results of those, the hydrant flow test that was conducted. So that leaves us with the plans, and I think we had hoped to have feedback from Jim Gracia, who is the city's engineer, kind of letting us know that the plans had been reviewed and
He is on
And
vacation.
he's on vacation.
He was, he left like a day or two after we got the plans, and I think he'll be back next week. So, he received the plans, but I guess there was a lot of other things going on in the city, and he didn't have a chance to, let us know if he had any comments or anything like that.
Well, we are in the Allegroni Construction of Pittsfield is the general contractor, and their firm is putting the package together for the building permit, which is, this is all, obviously all related. So they expect to submit the application probably next week to the building department, and then obviously there's a review, that process as well.
I think I would find it helpful, just, A, it's been a while since I've looked at these in detail, and B, this is not remotely my area of expertise. So since we don't have comments back from Jim, I would find it helpful maybe if you could just walk through, like, what are the changes that have been made?
Sure.
Maybe like plan by plan.
Well, I'll start off with the easy part. The planting plan was changed. We added 30-something more shrubs and screening material as per the one of the public hearings that we had way back when.
So this just is reflecting what we...
Yep,
Okay.
exactly what was presented to you at our last hearing a year and a half ago.
Okay.
We developed a sign sheet showing where the stop signs are, where the pedestrian crossing signs are gonna go, where the identification sign was, and that was submitted as a separate sheet.
Right.
We changed the detail sheet by adding an infiltration trench detail that Jim asked for. And also a gate valve, I believe, for the water gate.
That was part of the comp permit, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
Beside that, there wasn't a lot of
Yeah.
other changes.
Yeah.
We've been in touch with Jim with each one of the changes, and he was aware of what was being revised, so he's been informed of everything. And we've actually met with him a few times just to make sure that we're on the same page, and he's aware of it.
Great.
So from the time that you would have approved the comp permit, which were preliminary drawings, we went out to the architect and civil engineer and all the other mechanical folks, put together a full set of bid documents in September. We were gonna submit in October. So there would have been a lot more depth. So as getting down to that level, there was a few.
And actually, during that process, we met with the city, with the water department and Jim, and went through all the plans again, just to let them know that these are the changes that were made, and it was a courtesy just to meet with them, to show them the construction drawings.
Right.
And it was a good meeting. It went well.
Alright, so let's... Okay, so this, just so everybody here knows, I'm going through to look at what the conditions are. So the first one I'm getting to is the planting. So we've got adding the 21 evergreens on the northeast property line and the 4 evergreens on the northwest property line, and that's reflected.
Along here, there were some openings along there, so we added plants there. We
Right.
added some plants along there.
Okay.
And Quantity-wise, they're all shown.
They're all, right, okay.
We have large.
Oh, that's right, you weren't here for
I
that.
wasn't here.
Oh, you escaped the.
Yeah, I escaped,
The
that's why I was gonna.
You want to look at a large?
No, no.
You think that's a large?
Sufficient? All right. Okay. So there's the trees.
All right, this is how.
All right,
It's bigger.
I'm good. I was just looking at the trees. Just want to, we spend so much energy being so thorough. I don't want to give up on that now. All right. All right, so this one is showing,
Right here?
all right. All right.
Because it wants
I feel, no, how are people feeling about the fact that we don't have the notes from Jim?
Do we want to do I don't know, preliminary or conditional approval of these?
I don't think we can, I think we,
Can.
yeah, I think we either do it or we don't. I mean, I suppose we could continue for a month, but where in your timing,
We're hoping to close by mid to late May, and we need the building permit
Mhm.
as part of
In order to
a closing package for all the lenders. They're gonna-
And they're gonna want that sooner than later.
right.
So I'm not, the exact process for building permit is my understanding is if it gets submitted next week, it's at least 2 weeks before it gets issued, because it's gotta
Right.
be reviewed in-house. So I don't know
Right.
if Jamie has knows that,
I mean,
but that's my understanding of the process.
I guess, I mean, there is no appeal period on this approval, so it's not like the comprehensive permit. Once, I assume, once the board approves this, that satisfies the board. You could start the building, the process with the building inspector. They could begin the process of reviewing it, knowing that final approval will come.
Will the building inspector review it without final approval from the board?
I mean, he won't sign off on it.
No, but will
I
he-
mean, it's possible that he'll start the process of reviewing it.
So is the next meeting early May?
Next
Yeah, I mean,
meeting
normally
is
we
May
meet,
8th.
normally it would be May 8th.
I mean, we're not gonna be closed before May 8th. I'd like to say we are, but we won't be.
And so, if the building inspector gets the material in the next week or two, he could have it all ready to go, and all he needs is the approval from the zoning board of appeals.
Yeah.
And then he won't have to add the 2 weeks of,
And that's 4 weeks from today.
that we meet again.
That we meet again, although the earliest that the building inspector would be able to review that decision would be the following Monday, because we normally meet on a Thursday
And then at
evening.
which point he would, if he needed 2 weeks, technically, the building permit would be issued on May 19th.
Although he could, the language in here isn't that the building permit can't be, like that the building inspector can't work on it, it's just that he can't issue it until we
This is true.
So,
If he's willing to, I mean, I can't speak for him, he's not here, and I don't know what
Well, I know
policies.
Allegroni has been working with
Already.
already as far as just the logistics of what has to be submitted.
Right.
Did the payment, when did the payment have to come, because we had to work out
Mhm.
the payment for this. So he's worked that all out, so I don't think, it could be that the building department doesn't know that there's this little condition until he, he may find that out.
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
think Joe would have. a
so-
In
problem.
theory, I don't think that Joe would have any problem
No.
beginning the process of review, and he would just sign off on actually granting the permit until he hears from the board.
And we could certainly, I would be happy, as long as the board is in agreement, to even draft a letter if there was any problem, saying that the board requests that he begin his process and not hold you up as you wait for us. But I would be much more comfortable doing that than I would be on voting tonight without having heard from Jim. So if that's a solution that can work for everyone, I would love to continue. And I guess also request that, when we hear something from Jim, that it be provided to you, and then you can make the determination of whether you all need to come back. Because assuming that we get from Jim what I think everybody here is expecting that we will get from Jim, I don't think that we need for all of you to come back.
Okay.
Oh, shucks.
You're always welcome.
You're always welcome. But I do, recognize that it, is a time and money commitment for you to be here, and I wish that we had everything that we need to make the decision, but I just don't think that we feel comfortable making that decision without that level of review, because it is not within our level of expertise to really look at these plans and make sure that they show what they need to show.
Okay.
So I move that we continue our review to Thursday, May 8th? Is it 8th?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, Thursday, May 8th. And we'll do 7 o'clock, we'll do it first. In this meeting room B, conference room B. Can I do a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks. And I think with that, we can adjourn our meeting for this evening.
Motion to adjourn.